Hey,
Ladies and gentlemen, CookieSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. Of course, I am the sexiest man on all internet wrestling radio. That's right, boom, boom, here, shaking the room live from Richmond, Virginia. Of course, joining me there way across the pond, my brother from another mother in Tokyo, Japan, Dave Coco. Well, Coco, we've been waiting for months. Jeff Jarrett's wrestling project, Global Force Wrestling, finally getting off the ground. He made it official at the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada on May the 6th. Taking a look, he's talking about TV tapings and is introduced the roster for the first time. And, well, Dave, I'm just going to tell you straight up out the gate. I am completely underwhelmed by this announcement. And let me tell you why, Coco.
Okay.
It was well documented that Jeff Jarrett was trying to buy back TNA, the company that he started, but Dixie Carter's daddy wouldn't let it happen because he wanted to buy his company back, but the condition was that she still had to be like a figurehead. She still had to be on the show, and he wasn't going for it, so that deal fell apart. So he partners up with Toby Keith, that's the country musician, ladies and gentlemen, in the sense he's going to start a new professional wrestling company in the United States. Okay, cool. Then he releases the name Global Force Wrestling and say he's going to go out throughout the world. He's going to scout some good wrestling talent. Well, he kind of faced some criticism because it's like, okay, well, do you have TV? Who's on your roster? And we were told to wait. And then Global Force Wrestling was doing some kind of co-op thing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And in fact, at the beginning of 2015, if you went to Global Force Wrestling's website, all it was Wrestle Kingdom promotion. That's all it was. In fact, the English commentary, I think that's the only thing Global Force Entertainment did was, I guess, paid for Jim Ross and Matt Stryker to do English commentary for Wrestle Kingdom. So anyway, we were told to wait, and we were waiting. We were like, finally, he's going to answer all these questions, and then he's going to release the roster. Where he tells us what we learned today is that tapings for Global Force Wrestling are going to take place in July. No word about a TV deal yet. It's actually going to be. It's going to take place at the Orleans Hotel and Casino Resort on July 24th. And then he starts talking about the roster. And now here, the first big name he gave out was, and forgive me, Dave, if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but Chael Sonnen, guy with the UFC. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen. He's going to be your quote-unquote expert analysis. And then he says, like, the big names are going to be PJ Black, that's the former Justin Gabriel from WWE, Killer Elite Squad, which is Davey Boy Smith and Vance Archer from New Japan, two members of the Bullet Club, Machine Gun Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows, followed up by Chris Masters, Lady Tapa, Thea Trinidad, now she played Sarita in TNA, Moose from Ring of Honor, and Sonata, formerly from TNA. And I just want to say, Dave, looking at this roster here, now if this was just for a card for like a TV taping, I'd be like, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But this is the entire roster so far. Is all these people are former WWE and TNA people, and in one case is a current ROH guy, and about 4 New Japan guys. And I'm just so completely underwhelmed by this because Jeff Jarrett said, oh, I'm going to explore. I'm going to find all the best wrestling talent around the world. And he said he was going to Japan. He was going to India. He was going to Europe. He was going to Africa. He was going to Mexico, the United States, Canada. And it's all guys that we know. It's all former this, former that. Yeah, it's got some one active Ring of Honor guy and 4 active New Japan guys, but it's all, quote unquote, former stars. And I just felt so underwhelmed and let down by this. I think it's an absolute – I just find it underwhelming and an absolute disaster. Now, does that mean I'm not going to give it a chance? No, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm just saying with all the time that I was asked to be patient as a fan, all the time I was asked to wait as a fan, all the time, it's just, no, just trust me on this. I just feel so just underwhelmed. I feel like Jeff Jarrett should learn something that, some people in politics and business do this. It's called under-promise, over-deliver, and I felt like he did the opposite. He over-promised and under-delivered. So, Dave, looking at this, are you negative on it as I am? Are you underwhelmed, or do you even care?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I really am. I think they hyped it up too much, and I think that was TNA's problem. I think that's Jeff Jarrett's problem. I think I'd be more excited if he just said, hey, this is the Global Force roster, hey. And I'm not as worried about the roster as I am the no television deal. Like, that scares me. And all that, but one of their big thing is traveling from minor league baseball stadium to minor league baseball stadium. Yeah, minor league baseball stadiums very rarely get audiences, So, it's cheap buildings, but you're outside and you're doing house shows. It's kind of a weird situation. And I'm very grateful for Jeff Jarrett for starting TNA. I do like TNA, even though I pick on him. I'm very grateful that he brought New Japan some English commentary and showed it to the world, as I'm a huge New Japan fan. And I'm not ready to shit on it yet, and I'm not as negative as you, I assure you. But I do agree with something. He overhyped it too much. Chael Sonnen, to me, was the biggest name he signed. To be honest, Chael Sonnen has a podcast. He'll be able to get the sports media. People love and hate him. He's just a big-time personality. So I think Chael Sonnen was sadly the biggest name of it, and I don't think he's going to be a wrestler.
No, he's doing commentary. He's doing expert analysis.
Of course, they were like, oh, we're going to try to work a deal, bring Triple Mania with English commentary. We're going to try to get – I'm more excited about that. Like, Global Force, if you have it where you get AAA, CMLL, New Japan, Dragon Gate, Wrestle One, and then you make just a clip show with English commentary, I would be more excited for that. You know what I mean? Be like, wow, all right, New Japan, you're going to get this. So I was hoping Global Force was going to be a modern-day NWA, but it looks like it's a second-rate TNA. I was expecting something great, and just because he overhyped it. I'm not as negative as you, but when I heard the roster, I'm happy Sonata's still working in America, and that explains why he's not on TNA anymore. Problems, And I'm happy Karl Anderson will get seen on a bigger scale, in North America. I think Anderson, Machine Gun's absolutely amazing. But the fact that there's not that many New Japan guys besides guys, the fact that there's no AJ Styles, there's no mention of any of the Japanese talent besides Sonata. When you bring us Wrestle Kingdom 9 and deliver it to the world, and then you're like, oh, here's Sonata. And I'm not knocking Sonata, but as a pro wrestling fan, an honest pro wrestling fan, you're thinking, wow, he's working with New Japan. You're thinking, wow, Nakamura, Tanahashi, Okada, even an appearance by Muto. No, when it comes to Global Force, Ring of Honor looks a million times better this month's pay-per-views. You know what I mean? So I'm not as negative as you, and I'm going to give it a chance. But one thing I do agree with was it was overhyped. It was completely overhyped. And when people said, people all the time ask us, what's your thoughts on Global Force? And I'm like, well, I'm going to wait for the roster to be revealed. And now I have to give my thoughts. It's a second-rate TNA. That's what the fuck it is.
I think Jarrett could have done better, under promise, over deliver. Let me give you an example of that. Let's just say, for the sake of this argument, I owe Dave Coco $50. And he's like, okay, I'm going to pay you back, and the deadline's coming up for me to pay him back, but I don't have the $50. let's just say I've got $30 to pay him, So what I would do to kind of save face, and then just using this as an example, is call him up, be like, Dave, thanks for letting me borrow that $50 from you. I'm gonna tell you right up, I'm not gonna have the full $50, but I'm gonna pay you what I can. Right now I've got $20, but I tell you what, before I head over to give it to you, let me go check. I think I might have like an extra $5 in a coat pocket in my closet somewhere. I'm gonna go check that, and I'm also gonna flip over my couch cushions and see if I can get some change. I'm gonna get your money back, but I'm gonna give you everything that I got right now. And then when I show up at Dave's house, I go, Dave, I said I had $20, but I did some looking, and now I've got 30. And see how much better that sounds as opposed to, Dave, I know you owe you $50, but all I've got is 30. You gotta under promise, over deliver. And I felt like Jarrett felt like he needed to hype it to keep people interested. And people are like, okay, well, who are these new superstars you're gonna break out? Who are these guys you're gonna introduce to the world? And it's just people that we know, people that have left, number one, number two companies in the United States. Now, does it mean I'm not going to give it a chance? Oh yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. I know the last time that Jarrett was involved in something like this, it was Rinka King over in India, and he put on rather entertaining shows over in India, and all he did was sign some free agents. He signed like Trevor Murdoch, Chris Masters, Nick Dinsmore, and then he took a bunch of TNA guys that nobody was doing anything with. He got Matt Morgan, Magnus, Sanjay Dutt, Scott Steiner, Abyss. Then he signed some other free agents, and then he mixed in with some local Indian talent. And he put on some pretty good shows. He told some great stories. So maybe lightning will strike twice, and he'll do that with Global Force. But I just don't think that out the gate this was a very bad first impression.
You know what? I honestly, this is what I would have done. This is just me. Same roster, same everything, right? I would have had Chael Sonnen and Machine Gun Anderson there. That's it. And then I would have said, we have Chael Sonnen, we have Machine Gun Anderson, and we have working agreements with these companies. I would have put Wrestle One, New Japan, Ring of Honor. And let me tell you, with only seeing Anderson there and only seeing Chael Sonnen there, and then a list of companies you have working relationships with, I would have been way more excited over that announcement. I think it's the way they presented it. Like, they're like, here, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what it is? It's like going into the NFL draft, having access to like five major universities you can take away from, and they're like, oh, we got a kicker and a punter. They're like, no, we should be a lot better than this. But yeah, I'm going to give it a chance, but they definitely fucked up the delivery on this. They just did. Because, booms, just put on your fucking you don't know what's happening hat, okay?
Okay.
Rewind back in time. I'm in charge of Global Force just for this broadcast. You have maybe Moose from Ring of Honor. You have Karl Anderson, Jeff Jarrett, Chael Sonnen, okay? Those are the four people with Jarrett's wife, okay? Those are the people on stage. They said, we have signed Moose, we've signed Karl Anderson, and we've got Chael Sonnen. And we have a working relationship with, and then they showed all the companies. I'm a million times more pumped up for that press release. Because I'm like, wow, they worked with New Japan, they worked with Wrestle One, they worked with Ring of Honor. I can't fucking believe it. And I hope Moose still goes with Ring of Honor. Lennox Wooderson says, does this mean that Moose won't go to NXT? I don't know. Moose is very talented. He's a Ring of Honor guy. WWE would be stupid to pass on him. But I don't
think it depends on what his contract says. I mean, if he's like in a solid contract for like a year, then no, he won't. In WWE, he won't make a move on him until his contract expires. I mean, they'll start floating him like a few months before it expires. Hey, are you interested? He finishes up his work and then he'll come out. But as far as that means, will he never go to NXT? No. Let's not shut the door on that. It's just going to depend on his contract, the length of it.
One question from Google Plus. We're going to make this short show because Boom Boom's way past his bedtime. If there was one guy you couldn't make the roster, you just add, like someone that Global Force is working with, who would it be? Like, who would you add? Like, if you're like him, one guy, the guy who's leaving the comment, Rico, appreciate it. Rico is a fucking famous commenter on the Facebook. Appreciate it, Rico. He says AJ Styles. Like, if AJ Styles is on that list, people are amazed by it. I don't know. I'm going to go Nakamura. He just won Wrestler of the Year. He's over. People love him. And let me tell you, you just have one guy, and you're like, well, here's Nakamura. I'm fucking buying Global Force t-shirts right fucking now. I'm just like, take my money, take my money, take my money. Booms. Same roster. You can add one guy, not in WWE, not in TNA. Who do you add to this list to make it exciting?
Oh, easy. I'd add AJ Styles. I think he's got enough name recognition. It would bring some credibility to the promotion, and he would just be a well-known name.
And is it just me, or is it kind of like part of the disappointment is AJ wasn't there? Like, how the fuck isn't AJ on this roster? Like, we thought Global Force was going to be AJ's fucking Swanee song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess he's making such a good living, and I figured, they must be doing something because you've got both Anderson and Gallows coming in. So I just don't know why they couldn't reach a deal. In fact, Lennox Larson asked, how long before the TNA locker room empties out and everyone jumps ship to Global Force, what would GFW have to do to make this happen? Easy, pay their wrestlers.
I think pay the wrestlers, but also like have it where it's clear cut how you get pushed. Like in TNA, it's kind of weird. Do you get pushed because you're a former WWE guy? Do you get pushed because you're original? If I was Global Force, be like, listen, we push you if you have talent. You know what I mean? Like, if I was making a third company, I would just be like, all that matters is talent. All that matters is talent. And I think if you made a company where you paid people on time, and you got to remember, Jeff Jarrett had pay issues too. Let's not get too crazy there. But if you pay people on time and they know that they can be successful off their own talent, I think you'll get a decent product.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give two more to Lennox Wooderson just because he's one of our most loyal fucking. I don't know about loyal, but what's the word I'm looking for? Pound for pound, most commenter on the business. Is that? I guess.
I'll say that.
GFW can be a win if they get the Young Bucks. Oh, without a doubt. Young Bucks is up.
Oh, yeah.
They are in the Bullet Cup with Jarrett. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought they delivered this so badly. And I think that's it. Oh, the indie talent pool is good right now. Jarrett needs to dig a little deeper. Companies with exclusive contracts are shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, and I didn't think Global Force was going to be an exclusive contract. That's why, like, having one or two superstars and then say who you have working relationships would get me a lot more excited. So, but I don't know. I'm going to give it time, but, I did promise I would give my opinion on Global Force as soon as they listed off a roster. And with that roster, there are some amazing stars, but it still feels like a second-rate TNA. Booms, your overall thoughts, and we're going to wrap this up because you got to go to bed.
My overall thoughts is this is kind of underwhelming, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm interested in an alternative. I'm interested to see who else they sign and how they progress and, what this leads to. So I wish them the best of luck. They've even talked about, I know Richmond is one of the cities they talked about running shows in, so maybe I'll go check it out when they come here. So I would just encourage everybody, while the announcement itself is underwhelming, let's give them a chance. Let's, not shit on it yet. Let's give them the benefit. Let's give Jarrett the benefit of the doubt. Let's give Global Force Wrestling the benefit of the doubt. And let's just see what they can do.
All right. Please like, comment, subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Coco Sports. And the reason I say follow us on Twitter and this is because we're trying to do at least one show a day. Yesterday I failed miserably, but that was more technical issues than dedication issues. And we did 3 shows today. We did one on the E60. We did an NXT review. We did Global Force. Me and Rob, if everything goes right, we'll be doing a Lucha Underground. So we are trying to make more content and build up an audience. And the best way to get our stuff is subscribe And also follow us on Twitter because sometimes our subscribers don't get the stuff. So, yeah, appreciate it. Also, check out cocosports.net. And the way Global Force is going, me and Booms and a couple other people have a secret project. Maybe we should stop talking about the secret projects. We might be Global Force 2.0. Booms, thank you. And now you can go to bed. Booms died during the NXT review. He's like falling asleep, got a pillow. And I'm like, all right, Booms, I guess you're going to go to bed. He's like, let's talk Global Force. This motherfucker, you're dedicated, dude. You're like, you know what? Who needs sleep? Who needs sleep? We need to break down the Global Force wrestling roster. Question, throw it in the comments because we got to get more interactivity here. Question, what is your thought? Win, loss, or tie for Global Force? I say tie. I imagine Booms is going to say loss.
No, I'm going to say tie.
All right. So what did you think? Win, loss, tie, and what are some of the wrestlers on this roster that you're looking forward to? Booms, I will most likely see you tomorrow, and thank you very much. Will you be doing SmackDown review, sweetheart?
I got to watch that first thing in the morning.
All right, so he'll be watching the SmackDowns. With that, I am over. Boom, 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 boom.